Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And some of you probably thought about starting your very own sports podcast. Well, let me help you out. I want to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's an easy way to make a podcast, and it's free. You don't have to worry about paying a bunch of money each month. There are creation tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So it can be heard on apps like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So go to anchorfm.com and start your very own podcast today. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And welcome to the State of the Saints podcast live. Thank you very much for tuning in. On this edition of the State of the Saints podcast, we're going to be talking about Alvin Kamara's contract. And we're also going to be talking about safety Malcolm Jenkins speaking to the media for the first time since his back and forth with Drew Brees. But I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you to those that are looking at this video, or if you're looking at it on YouTube or listening to the audio, I really do appreciate it. And I also want to give a special shout out to everybody that has been checking out the interviews that have been, conducted by myself and several individuals that are part of the Saints media. And I thank you all for your love and your support, man. And I encourage each and every one of you that have not checked out any of the interviews to please do so. I'm looking for any type of critique I can, man. I'm just trying to make sure that I give you all the best content and give you the best show possible, man. I mean, that's the most important thing to me. But let's go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about these two topics. First, we're going to start with Alvin Kamara because this is actually making national sports news. Okay, I mean, we looked at it on ESPN. We checked it out on NFL Network. If you actually have those stations, and everybody's talking about Alvin Kamara, and it's no surprise to me. I never understood why anybody in their right mind would think that the Saints would be so willing to get rid of Alvin Kamara, or if he asked for a certain amount of money to let him go. Look, I always felt, I had zero worry when it came to Alvin Kamara's contract. And if you have not heard, according to sources, the Saints are in talks with Alvin Kamara's representation about a contract extension. The Saints consider Alvin Kamara elite, and they want to pay him accordingly. And I have absolutely no problem with that. And anybody that has been a fan of the Who Dat Nation, you know what Alvin Kamara brings to the table. You know the type of player that he is. He's an explosive player. And if you think that Alvin Kamara's grow on trees, then maybe you smoking some of those trees, because there is no way that I will allow Alvin Kamara to go out here and test the open market. Don't feel like he's valuable. Don't feel like he's worth the money. Well, put him on the open market and see how quick somebody snatch him up. Alvin Kamara does deserve to be paid like a top running back. Does he deserve to be the highest paid running back? No, he does not, in my opinion. But he definitely deserves to be in the upper echelon of running back when it comes to the payments. So I have no problem with that. I'm happy for him. He deserves it. The guy came in third round out of Tennessee. Very little fanfare. We seen him in training camp. Sean Payton, compared him to Marshall Faulk, a fellow New Orleanian and a Culver Ram like myself. And, the rest is history, man. I mean, he started out the first couple games. We were like, man, I don't know about that Marshall Faulk comparison. And then all of a sudden, man, when they played against the Detroit Lions, I mean, the rest is history. I mean, he became one of the most exciting players to watch in all of the NFL. He was given absolutely nothing but an opportunity. I mean, this is a guy that can catch out of the backfield. He has hands almost similar to a wide receiver or a slot receiver. He can run between the tackles. The last few seasons, I mean, he averaged about 4.5, 5 yards per carry, exactly what you want your running backs to average. And honestly, last year, man, he said that he played 73%. So a guy that goes out there and gives his all, a guy that goes out there and lays it all on the line, a guy that is a team first guy. Okay, make no mistake about it. There are some players out there, who that nation, that would have not made that decision, would not have played in these games last season. I mean, would have sat on the bench and said, man, look, I'm not going to mess up my money. I'm not going to squander my opportunity to have generational wealth to be able to take care of my kids and my kids' kids. People think like that, folks. And when you have people out there that are unselfish like Alvin Kamara, these guys ought to be commended and celebrated and not sitting out here being criticized because he didn't play up to your standards. Okay, I mean, he still had 81 catches. He still had nearly 1,000 yards. No, he didn't score like he did the first 2 seasons of his career. But the fact that he actually had a torn MCL and he still was out there going hard for his team and really putting the team first tells you everything you need to know about Alvin Kamara. So I am going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say this. I really don't want to hear anybody bashing Alvin Kamara anymore. I don't want to hear anybody talking badly about this guy and saying that this guy has lost it and he lost a step and he's not as good and he's signed with Clutch Sports and Clutch Sports has a reputation of turning players into divas. I don't want to hear that no more. I don't want to hear that because he does not deserve that type of criticism. Because some of y'all that's out here criticizing this man are going to be the same folks now that he's 100% talking about AK, 41, AK. I don't want to hear it, okay? Keep that same energy and understand that it's hard to play in the National Football League at the running back position with a torn MCL, all right? Alvin Kamara for the last couple of years of the New Orleans Saints has proved to me that he's one of the best running backs in the league. He comes out and says that he was playing at 73%. And I got 2 years that can back that up to prove that he probably did play at 73%. It just seems like to me, if you still have a problem with that, then maybe you're just a contrarian and maybe you just want to be on the opposite side of the fence. But I'm glad this guy's getting paid. He deserves every bit of the money that he gets. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in the Saints uniform for years to come, being a leader and being one of the guys that can galvanize this team post Drew Brees. But I want to give a special shout out to everybody checking out the live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and also on iTunes and Spotify. Thank you all very much. Special shout out to Brian, who was first. Jerry, Chosen is in the building. Shouts out to David, Humanity's Pain. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with Brian here. Brian says, are you going to do New Orleans Saints virtual fans this year? Wear a trophy. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm doing anything like, virtual fan type experience. The only thing I can tell you is that me and my older brother, EJ, we're going to be having pre and post game shows throughout the entire season. Haven't really come up with a name yet. Probably going to be Two Brothers the way that it used to be. Me and my brother actually started out before I actually moved to South Carolina. We had a sports podcast and it kind of slipped through the cracks between me being a store manager and it taking up a lot of my time. But we did have a sports show, man. So we're bringing that back. Probably going to be called, once again, Two Brothers Sports Show. You'll be able to check that out pre and post game. And we're going to be taking phone calls. We're going to be just like a regular radio show, like the way they do it down there in WWL. No, I'm not trying to compete with anybody, but I just feel like, the Who Dat Nation, they need more than one outlet. You know what I'm saying? We got so many great podcasters out there. Shouts out to Big Q. Shouts out to Deuce Winham. Shouts out to NOS Podcast. Simba, he's doing his podcast thing, man. There's so many other people out there. So, there's enough room for everybody. So Two Brothers Sports is going to be the wave here going forward for the 2020 season. So we encourage you all to check us out. Brian says, are you going? Oh, you already ask me that, but Brian, yeah, but hopefully you check it out, man. Joe Wiley says, "Who that, baby? Hope all is well." Yeah, what's going on, Joe? Man, everything is great, man. I don't know how long it's been since you tuned in, but man, great. Life is great, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm married, going on 2 weeks now. You know what I'm saying? I'm married the love of my life. My son is fine. You know what I'm saying? I took him for his 15-month shots today. I mean, he did a good job. You know, he wasn't crying and going crazy or anything like that, man. Life is great. And then I get opportunity not only to, try to be the best husband, best father I can be, and I got the best wife and the best son that you possibly can have. I got the best viewers and supporters of the State of the Saints podcast or this podcast that you can ask for. So life is good right now, man. I have zero complaints. And, I'm just looking forward to giving you all great content. So welcome, Joe. Appreciate you tuning in. Ray says 5-year, $45 million for Kamara. I don't know if that's the actual numbers right now, Ray, or you're just actually saying that. Not mad at that at all. Might be, I don't know, especially like since you have to count Ezekiel Elliott's contract. So I don't know about the 5 years thing, maybe 3 to 4. 45 or something like that, but I don't think you want to go 5 years, man, especially like when you look at a contract like Ezekiel Elliott. So hopefully they can get it done, man, and hopefully the Ezekiel Elliott deal won't be influence on a long, lengthy process. I hope not. So Donald says, man, first time being able to see you live in months. You've been doing a great job, man. Donald, thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Man, I'm trying to do the best that I can, man, to give you all the best content possible. And make no mistake about it, folks. I mean, I don't know if people want me to jump out the window or be like, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Look, all of the success of the State of the Saints podcast comes from individuals like you. And I'm going to continue to say that. I'm going to continue to give you all the props that you deserve, because nobody would know who TJ Jones is or the State of the Saints podcast if people weren't liking, sharing, and viewing these videos and putting me, into, the Google algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you all are doing these things. You know what I'm saying? You are the reason why I can, reach out to some of these sports media people that are influential in New Orleans Saints organization and have conversations with them. It's all because of you, man. So I will continue to work towards making this show the best possible. And I thank you all for allowing me to be one of the voices of, Saints fans, so I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Evelyn says, who that? It's been good. What's going on, Evelyn? I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and scroll down just a tad bit, man, if y'all don't mind. Feel free to, I know people filing in right now, letting their presence be known, but feel free. Any questions that you have, all the new people out there that's probably checking this out for the first time, thank you very much. This is how we do it, okay? We put questions and comments in the chat, and I'll read them, okay? Not about donations. If you donate to the State of the Saints, I'm forever grateful for that. But it's not about donations. It's about interacting. It's about asking questions. It can be about training camp. It can be about, man, it can just be about anything Saints related. And I mean, sometimes we even drift off, talk Pelicans, NBA, life. That's how we do it here, man. Not only are we Saints fans here, man, but we're family as well, man. We develop friendships, relationships. You know what I'm saying? People like inbox me. We interact away from this live. So, I mean, we're really intimate here on the State of Saints podcast. So don't be afraid, man. And there's no such thing as a silly question. You know what I'm saying? We'll laugh at it, but it will be answered. So, man, be sure to don't be afraid to check out the chat and also just comment if you have any questions. Chemo says, who that TJ host? Man, what's going on, Chemo? Appreciate you tuning in. Brian says, how are you and your family doing? Man, we're doing fine. Like I said, everything's great, folks. Don't have any complaints right now. Just living the life the best way that I can. Terrence says, I actually think that Washington dude can do some damage if given the opportunity. Dude got talent. I absolutely agree with you on that, Terrence. We've talked about Dwayne Washington on the State of the Saints podcast on several occasions. And We know about some of the things that he's done in garbage time, but I will give him credit for the 2018 season against the Carolina Panthers. Even though the Saints got waxed, he was the bright spot of the team. He rushed for over 100 yards. He towed the mail pretty well. And when he does come into the game, I mean, like I said, you can call it garbage time, and teams are probably so deflated to a point where they're like, we're not going to win anyway. But still, man, I mean, he has run for the tough yardage. He has broken through and had big gains. So I think there is something there. The only problem with Dwayne Washington, Terrence, that will keep him off the field, and I even heard about this in practice, man, is his inability to hold on to the football. And we know that Sean Payton does not like when a running back fumbles the football. I mean, we've seen this with Mark Ingram when he has bad games, and he would put Mark Ingram deep on the bench. You probably won't even see him. As good as Mark Ingram was towards the end of his Saints career, I mean, he does not tolerate fumbling the football, and that's something Dwayne Washington has had struggles with in practice and especially in training camp. So if he can probably, fix his fumble woes, maybe Sean Payton would have confidence in him and probably make him a part of the rotation. But as long as that starts to show up at practice and show up at training camp, there's going to be room, and guys like Ty Montgomery can go ahead and come in and probably going to be able to get opportunities over Dwayne Washington. But he is doing a good job on special teams, and he has been since he's been with the Saints. So hopefully he fixes his fumble issues, continuously play well on special teams, and he'll get those opportunities when they present themselves. So thank you, Terrence. Jerry says, okay, let's make it happen. Yeah, we definitely got to make it happen with Alvin Kamara, and it looks like it's going to happen. Everybody understands what Alvin Kamara brings to the team, and if you don't, once again, just like I said in my opening statement, like something is wrong with you. Like anybody that's sitting out here talking about, don't pay Alvin Kamara, or Alvin Kamara not worth the money, or we can trade him for no. Look, man, it's some things that players possess, and you want to keep that, and you want that to be a part of your culture. I think sometimes like we get so fixated with the fact that the Saints have always had one of those guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield, or whether it be, Reggie Bush, Darren Sproles, Tavares Cadet. And then we look at somebody like Alvin Kamara, but Alvin Kamara is more special than all of those guys, man. You can say that Darren Sproles was special, and he was. But even Darren Sproles could not match the pass catching ability and running in between the tackles like Alvin Kamara. And I'm saying that with my chest, okay? I'm saying it with my chest. I am not backing down. And before somebody comes up here and tells me about Darren Sproles having that magical season when he had, all those yards from scrimmage, look, I am a huge Darren Sproles fan. Way back when he played for Kansas State and he single-handedly destroyed the Oklahoma Sooners in a Big 12 championship game. There's not much you can tell me about Darren Sproles. But I'm saying Alvin Kamara is on pace to just basically exceed the expectations that was even, that was given to him, the expectations that was expected. Like they probably just thought that he would be one of those guys that catch the ball out of the backfield. They did not think that Alvin Kamara could be this special. No team did, because if they did, he wouldn't have fell into the third round. So I feel like he will be even better than Darren Sproles was. And Darren Sproles was pretty damn spectacular. So, and I got a lot of respect for him, and that's saying a lot. For anybody that know me, know I've been rolling with Sproles for a very, very long time. Terrence also says, the way that you keep Kamara healthy is give Murray 80% of the carries and features Kamara more in the passing game. Kamara should get no more than 10 carries a game. This is a three-way player. He can even make an impact on special teams. Terrence, I have to say that I have to disagree with what you're saying when it comes to the 80% Murray. Look, I get it. I like him. I like Murray a lot. Do I feel like he needs to get more carries? Yes. 80%, I don't think so. Like, honestly, I don't think he needs to get 80% of the carries. Now, I will say this. Okay, I get what you're saying, and I know where you're coming from, and you probably feel the same way I do. You understand that Latavius Murray is a preheat oven running back. There are some running backs out there. As soon as they get the ball, I mean, they just explode. Okay, and then there's guys that you have to give them more than one carry, and as the game go on, they wear down the front four, and they get stronger and stronger, and that's what Latavius Murray is. But Latavius Murray does not need to be running the ball 80% of the time. I would have to say probably about 45% of the time. And, Alvin Kamara about 55% of the time. I'm for that. Okay, I do feel like you need to split this, a little bit better than what the Saints have been doing. The thing about Sean Payton is he's just so obsessed with the talent of Alvin Kamara, and Alvin Kamara can do so many great things. It's hard for you to just say, man, come over to the sidelines, because even if he's not running the ball between the tackles, he's a threat in the passing game. So when you got a guy that is that multi-dimensional, it's hard for you to say, man, come on and stand by me and allow number 28 to come into the game. I do feel like they need to find more ways to add Latavius Murray into the game. And I think that would come if Latavius Murray actually worked on his pass catching ability, which he has. Last season against the Arizona Cardinals was his first receiving touchdown that he had in his NFL career. So I feel like if he actually works on his hands and he becomes a better pass catcher, I think the Saints will use him more. I mean, that's just the way the Saints roll, man. I mean, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, Les Miles style is not going to be happening in New Orleans. The Saints try to find exotic ways to run the football, and they try to find ways to try to, confuse the defense. And what better way can you confuse the defense if you actually have a guy that can run between the tackles and have the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield? Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram struggled with his hands coming out of Alabama, but he worked on it. And he ended up being a pretty damn good screen runner, towards the end of his Saints career. So he got the picture, man. He got the big picture. So I hope that Latavius Murray realized that might help him get on the field faster. David says, congratulations on your marriage. I appreciate that, David. Thank you so much. Let's see. TJ, with the new addition to the backfield, do you think they can hold up in coverage longer so the D-line can sack or disrupt the quarterback? Your thoughts? DA, very good question. And that kind of leads me to something that I want to let you all know. I don't know if you've been following training camp or not. According to Mike Triplett, Nick Underhill, they have been out there and they have been doing a really outstanding job, creating the imagery and letting us know what's going on in training camp. And according to sources, man, the defense is dominating the offense in training camp. And I love to hear that, because we all know how explosive the Saints offense can be. And if the defense can match up with the offense, it's pretty damn good. And it's not like I'm so alarmed because the defense is getting the best of the offense. I'm not alarmed about that at all. I mean, I've heard that the defense has picked off Drew Brees 2 times, could be 3. If Marcus Williams would have held on to the football, Marcus Williams intercepted Drew Brees. Alex Anzalone intercepted Drew Brees. The defense, the secondary are locking up receivers. They can't, they can't get the ball. Drew Brees is getting sacked. I think Sheldon Rankins had a sack. Davenport had a credited sack. So the defense is really stepping up. So do I feel like they can lock it up back there? Absolutely, man. I just feel like with the addition of Malcolm Jenkins and what he actually brings to the table. I mean, the guy's been in the league about 12 years now. It's nothing he hasn't seen offensively that will discourage him or confuse him. So I just think by him being on the field in the secondary helps out tremendously. And it also allows Marcus Williams to play a little bit more free. That's right, folks. I really feel like the reason why we criticize Marcus Williams as much, I mean, the tackling situation, I mean, it's warranted, okay? I mean, he even said that he's not a good tackler. But he does take up a lot of field, man. He can cover a lot of ground. So I feel like when you got a veteran back there and you don't have to worry about somebody, that's confused, don't know what's going on, you can play free and you probably can really live up to your potential because all you have to do now is worry about how you play. So the defense has been getting the best of the offense. So do I feel like they can? Absolutely. And this is an indication. Anytime that you are confusing Drew Brees, picking Drew Brees off, sacking Drew Brees, what more can you ask for? And you shouldn't feel bad if you're hearing about this because they're playing with offensive line right now that are reserves. 2 guys on the offensive line were substitutes. So so don't get discouraged. You hear that they sacking Drew Brees all over the place, And when I say sack, they can't touch him, but they get credit for the sack. So Saint Man says, I really like how they paired up Mike T with Jenkins and Sanders with Lattimore. Toughness versus toughness, speed versus speed. Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point there, Saints, man. And I also believe that iron sharpens iron. I hear that going around quite a bit. I just feel like the better the receivers are, the better the corners can be. I don't feel that there's a coincidence that Michael Thomas is one of the best wide receivers in the league and Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best corners in the league. Those guys go up against one another each and every day. And the better Michael Thomas get, the better Marshawn Lattimore has the opportunity to get, and vice versa. So Janoris Jenkins, Michael Thomas was getting the best of him today, but Michael Thomas gets the best of a lot of cornerbacks out there. So I will take my money and put it on Janoris Jenkins, and I think that Janoris Jenkins is going to be outstanding corner, and I think it's been a long time coming. The Saints have needed a number 2 corner on this team for a very long time, and I think Janoris Jenkins fills that void very well. Chemo says, I seen a route Mike T ran on Jackrabbit from a practice clip from today. Sheesh. Yeah, man. He even confused the cameraman on that, when he gave him that quick out, Janoris Jenkins thought he was going to run to the inside. He ran to the outside on the out. Good route, man. Michael Thomas is incredible. He's one of the best route runners in football, and he's one of those guys that are going to be playing for a long time pending injury because guys that can run routes really well are the guys that stay around a long time. Those guys that got that blazing speed, they're ankle injury or a knee injury away from not having a career at all. So hopefully those things don't happen to the speedy receivers, but in reality, if you don't learn how to become a route runner, you become expendable. But if you're a guy who can run really good routes, you can be in the NFL for a very long time because sometimes, speed leaves you earlier than you anticipate. And if you didn't learn that route tree or you're not a good route runner, you'll be on the outside looking in. And that's something that they held over the head of Dez Bryant for years. Hopefully he can get the job with the Baltimore Ravens. He gets signed. But that's something that they can hold over his head every time he goes for a trial. The fact that, you never learned the route tree. You never grasped the concept of running routes. So, Michael Thomas does an outstanding job, and he's one of those guys that can play for a very, very long time. No doubt about it. Dill Pickle says, I don't like when running backs get long-term deals because you don't know what will happen, although you can say that for most positions. Yeah, Dill, I don't feel like this is something that you really have to have a long thought process about. Look, there's always going to be some what ifs. There's what ifs in every aspect of life, right? What if, I don't know, what if Asante Samuels caught that interception, 2 minutes into that game, the Patriots would have been undefeated and the Giants would have lost that Super Bowl. What if the referees would have threw the flag in 2018, the Saints would have been in the Super Bowl. There's so many different scenarios where we can say what if. But when it comes to the contract, the contracts and the positions, it's a gamble. That's the way it goes. That is why you have to make sure that you get the right people into your organization. guys that are high character guys and guys that are not going to just phone it in once they get those big deals. Like people like I feel like Ndamukong Suh did. I feel like Ndamukong is one of those guys that could have been one of the best defensive tackles in NFL history. I mean, this guy, I don't know if you watched him at Nebraska. That guy was a beast. I remember, man, him in a Big 12 championship game against the Oklahoma Sooners, man, he had like 4.5 sacks, and he was up for the Heisman. I mean, it's very rare that you have a defensive tackle up for the Heisman. That's how dominant he was. But, I mean, I just feel like he came into the league, and he was part of that last little wave that when you're a first or second round pick, you getting guaranteed $45, $50 million contracts. And I just feel like he just became an NFL mercenary. So I don't really care for guys like that. I like guys that are high character guys and guys that have the mind frame like Michael Thomas. When he got his deal, he called Mickey Loomis and he told him, he said, I'll be back again to renegotiate my contract in 5 years. That's the kind of guy that you want in your organization. A guy that's going to say, yeah, I got this money, but I'm not done yet. So if you got guys like that, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I would pay them as much money as I can, because I know that I'm going to get a return on my investment. Rather it come in a form of, respect, revenue when it comes to, jersey sales and, and being in the community and stuff like that. I mean, it would be a great return on investment. So as long as you got the right guy in place, doesn't matter the position, I mean, that guy's going to rise to the occasion. And Alvin Kamara, once again, I mean, playing at 73%. Playing at 73%, going out there for his teammates, I mean, it tells you everything you need to know, Deal. So even if you were on the fence, you got to get a guy credit in that regard. He could have easily destroyed his career by being out there. I mean, MCL tear, I mean, somebody go at his knee once again, and he re-aggravates it or hurts it even worse. Then we talking about a Marcus Dupree type guy, the best that never was. So he gets credit just for that alone, in my opinion. That's good. We paying Kamara because we gotta pay Lattimore and Marcus Williams at the end of the season, and Ramczyk gonna get a big contract deal. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that you need to pay, but this is a great problem to have. And I think the Saints are going to find ways to pay these guys because all these guys that you just named, they deserve their money. They deserve it, Phoebe. You know what I'm saying? They deserve their money for the work that they put in since they've been drafted. So I don't mind. All those guys deserve to get paid. Justin says, TJ, we have to talk about this on your last podcast. Sean Payton has to do better. Realize that he always has two dominant backs, but the one that's the horse, feed him more and bring your scat back to throw them off. Justin, I agree with that in certain circumstances, but I don't consider Alvin Kamara as just being a scat back alone. I don't think that people need to put that title on Alvin Kamara because Alvin Kamara is not a scat back. He is not one of those guys that just catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles. He can get you yards, those ugly yards. He can fight for extra yards. I mean, we talk about Alvin Kamara's ability to break tackles, his ability to stay balanced, even when he takes one of those tough shots, look like he's going to take them out. He does so many other great things. So I don't consider him as a scat back. I look at him as a guy that's a multidimensional, a multifaceted guy. That's what I look at him as. And I feel like if Latavius Murray wasn't here, Alvin Kamara still can be an every down back. So I feel like putting that title on him, Justin, is not fair because that's not him. Scat backs don't average 5 yards a carry. Scat backs don't average, like almost 120 yards a game. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't what scat backs do. You know what I'm saying? Like scat backs are guys that on third down, like I think about McKinney, the guy that was out there for the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? I think about people like that. I think about people like Tevin Coleman when he played for the Falcons. I think about guys like that being scat backs. I think about Darren Sproles, even though Darren Sproles could run between the tackles, nobody really asked him and required him to do so. But when it comes to Alvin Kamara, man, I mean, did you see that game against the Texans? He was running between the tackles. He was running to the outside. He was catching the ball out of the backfield. And the same thing with the Seattle Seahawks. So that alone tells me that the Saints think more of him as a scat back. And I think that we need to completely eliminate that thought pattern from our minds about Alvin Kamara and put a little bit more respect on his name when it comes to him being an every down back instead of just being a scat back. But Justin, I do understand what you're saying, man, because that's the way the Saints have been for years, right? They've always had the power guy, right, that can run downhill. And then you always had that other guy that was more elusive that can catch the ball out of the backfield, a la Reggie Bush and Pierre Thomas. But the Saints have a guy that can not only do what Pierre Thomas can do, he can do what Reggie Bush can do too. So it's a pretty good problem to have. Let's see. D says, I say he deserves Zeke money. Kamara and Mike T, there's no way Brees' successor can't flourish. I agree. And that's one of the reasons, D, I feel like they want to make this contract, happen pretty soon. Okay. They want to make sure that they pay him really soon because they know. Look, I said this before, folks. When you're going through a transition, when you got a new quarterback, you need to make sure that you have the best support system around him. Even if it's Jameis, even if it's Taysom, even if it's like a rookie that's not even in the NFL yet, they are going to need a supporting cast. And Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, I mean, that's pretty damn good company. You know what I'm saying? And those are guys that can be great security blankets for any quarterback that is post Drew Brees. So I do feel like they need to pay him. I don't feel like they need to pay him Zeke money. That's where we're going to have to disagree, D. I don't feel like I don't want to say deserves, but for what Zeke actually does, being a true every down back, not really too many guys behind him. I mean, I know Tony Pollard was backing him up, but you only see Tony Pollard maybe 3 times in a game. And that's probably when Zeke is probably a little bit blown up and he runs to the sideline when he put his hand up and say, I need to be taken out of the game. Alvin Kamara isn't like that. Alvin Kamara is, splitting rotation, even though it don't feel like it, but he is splitting it with other running backs and other guys. So I don't feel like he needs to be paid like that. If the Saints want to pay him like that, look, I mean, that's their prerogative, but we have to be realistic about this also. And we definitely want to make sure that, we're not handicapping our team for years to come. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get Zeke money. I think that this might be the year where our Saints lead the league in defensive takeaways and fourth quarter stops. Casual Dex, I hope so. Malcolm Jenkins said in a press conference today, he said he looked around, he's seen all this talent on the field, and he said, I cannot believe that you guys didn't end up in the Super Bowl at least once in the last 3 years. And I think that he even talked a little bit about some of those fourth quarter woes that keep us going to Walgreens and CVS getting heart medication and blood pressure medication. He talked about that. He said, man, we want to make sure that we eliminate those things. And I feel like with him being in the secondary, Janoris Jenkins being in the secondary, those are guys that I consider closers. Those guys aren't going to be the guys that be giving up big plays late in games. That's just not how they roll. That's just not how they wired. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that the Saints kind of helped themselves in that regard. But I think this might be the year where the defense becomes a little better. And I think they're going to have to, folks. Like as much as we love Drew Brees, and for some apparent reason, people think I don't know why. Maybe because, I'm not afraid to criticize Drew Brees when he doesn't play well. But realistically, folks, as much as you love Drew Brees, look, we cannot continuously hang our hat on Drew Brees. We can't. It's not that Drew Brees can't deliver. Don't get it twisted. Drew Brees still can deliver. If the Saints are in a shootout, I'm still confident that Drew Brees can deliver the Saints at least down the field for a field goal, or at least down the field for a touchdown. I believe in Drew Brees, but I feel like we need to stop, just, being so hell bent on Drew Brees delivering the Saints. It's time for these young players to step up. It's time for the running game to step up. It's time for the defense to step up. And guys have come on the show, State of the Saints podcast, reporters and stuff like that. And, they talk about how they feel like the Saints, Drew Brees is the best player on the field, so you want to utilize your best players on the field. Look, I get all that. But at the same time, everybody knows that Drew Brees is going to have the ball late in games, and everybody knows that Drew Brees is going to throw the ball all over the place. So what do? They try to disrupt Drew Brees early in the game so it can affect the outcome later in the game. Sean Payton and the coaching staff have to find better ways to protect Drew Brees. And the defense definitely has to step up. It's about that time, folks. It's about time the Saints have an elite defense. It's about time guys start getting stops. It's about time where we actually see some of those ugly phone booth games where we're not so Drew Brees dependent on winning. Okay, we've seen this so many times, man, with quarterbacks who are in the twilight of their careers. We see coaches really putting emphasis on defense. You can even say that last year with the New England Patriots. Now, they weren't successful going to the playoffs, but you can say their defense was dominating the NFL for like at least 8 weeks of the season. It wasn't because of Tom Brady. It wasn't because of him. It was because of the defense. If you go back a little bit further, Peyton Manning, had an elite defense. Joe Montana, when he played for the Chiefs and he was towards the end of his career, he had a dominating defense. So you really want to rely on the defense and you want to rely on the running game to help out Drew Brees because it's not fair. It's not fair to constantly parade him out there, and it's not really fair for us to continuously put our hopes and dreams in Drew Brees and think that Drew Brees is just going to deliver every time. He is a human. As good and as accurate as he is going to have bad games. So you have to find ways to be able to compensate when those situations occur, because now the blueprint is out. Teams have figured out if you put your best pass rushers up the A-gap and try to go at Drew Brees because he is height deficient, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is going to affect him because all you have to do is get the pressure in his face. He can't really see over the line. He's not really going to step up in a pocket like that because, I hate to say it, he's a little bit of a statue, and teams know that. So what do? You try to find ways to try to, make up for what Drew Brees lacks. So you do that by running the football. You do that by, playing good defense. So let's just make sure that we actually help out our quarterback, man. Matthew says, do you think Demario Davis will want a big deal? Going to be hard to re-sign all 2017 draft class plus Davis. Man, he needs to get paid what he deserves. It's not Demario Davis' fault that he a first-team All-Pro. It's not Demario Davis' fault that he the best linebacker the Saints has had in a very long time. It's not his fault that he's starting to even surpass people like Jonathan Velma. And you can arguably say he's one of the top free agents the Saints ever picked up in the history of their franchise. It's not his fault. The Saints signed him to do a job, and he does it well. And he should get paid accordingly. If a job signs you, right, they take out an investment. They say, okay, we want you to have the job. We want you to go out here and put your best foot forward, and you do. And not only do you do it, you do it well. You're employee of the month. You've had unlimited access to the company lounge. You know what I'm saying? You're able to, take advantage of some of the things that the boss gives you, the perks or what have you. It all because you did a good job. So how are you supposed to feel? Are you supposed to be like, man, I don't deserve all this, man? I do my job well, but I don't deserve what's coming to me. No, man. He does his job. He does it well. He is exceeded expectations. Let's be honest, folks. Nobody expected Demario Davis to be as good as he is. I will be confident in saying I didn't think he was going to be as good as he is. The guy deserves his money. So if he goes to the Saints and say, man, I deserve this amount of money, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. Pro Bowl appearances, first team All Pros. According to Pro Football Focus, the second best ranking among linebackers. The only person that's better is Bobby Wagner. He's the only linebacker that ranks above the 80 percentile in coverage, pressures, and you know what I'm saying, and also in tackling, man. So he deserves his money. And it's not up to Mario Davis to be like, man, I need to take a pay cut. No, man. Not at all. That's their problem to work out. Brian says, don't take this the wrong way. Ages catch up with so many NFL players on the New Orleans Saints team. That's why they don't play. The weather should be better than. Well, age catch up with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Not just football players. I mean, I often say here on the State of the Saints podcast, if you're in your 40s, you're not what you were when you were in your 20s. Now, you may think you are, but you're not. Okay? I mean, that's just the way that it is. But I do feel like these players that the Saints have, they have a lot to offer, and they do an outstanding job. With Drew Brees, I'm assuming you're talking about Drew Brees, Brian, because he's like the real true oldest person on the team. You know what I'm saying? Being 41 years old, I guess you can throw Malcolm Jenkins in that equation as well. But, I mean, you're not going to be what you used to be. But, I mean, what you struggle in, you can make up for it by doing some of the things that you do great, even more great. So, I mean, that's the best way I can answer that question. Let me see. Brian also says, if you are a New Orleans Saints fan, you shouldn't care how they play, good or bad. You should love them unconditionally, the coaching staff and the football players and the owner of the team. I agree, but I have to disagree with your statement towards the end. Okay, if you're a Saints fan, you should care. Okay, you should care about how the team play. You should care about the records. You should care about, you know, how well they play against the opposition. But, you know what I'm saying, it's not about not loving them unconditionally. It's the fact that we expect excellence in the Who Dat Nation, because over the past 3 seasons, the Saints have had the best record in NFL in the past 3 seasons among teams, and they have really very little to show for it. Yeah, they have NFC South championships, but I guarantee you each and every person in the Who Dat Nation would trade those NFC South titles for a Super Bowl title. We're just kind of fed up and tired. You know, like we're tired of watching a team as good as they are, you know, phone it in, or, you know what I'm saying, a crack under pressure, or, you know what I'm saying, like we're just kind of tired of it. So I don't feel like that's an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like if you criticize the team, or you criticize the coaching staff, or you criticize a player, I mean, that's just the way that it is. You know, like we're all searching for answers, and it's not we're just like, okay, man, this is the way that I feel. I'm right. They need to listen to me. No, I mean, we're all in this right now. Rather it's me, you know what I'm saying, like giving you my opinion. You're in the chat giving your opinion, and it doesn't make us right. You know, us giving our opinion. We're not right. We're not wrong. We don't know. We just give our opinion. You know what I'm saying? But that don't make us, you know, love the team any less. We just want to see them succeed. I heard the defense did great at camp. Yeah, Dalton, they're doing great. They're standing out and flying around the field. They're aggressive, and I just think that they want to change the narrative, man, about, you know, giving up late leads in games. The 49ers game had me running like the Looney Tunes road runner to CVS. Yeah, that was a tough game right there. You know, it was a tough game. Exciting if you don't have an emotional investment, it was an exciting game for you. You can even say the same thing about that Vikings game. But, you know, the Saints came out on the losing end of both of those games that I just mentioned. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I mean, we love the Saints. I mean, we take the bad with the good. So, you know, sometimes the bad really hurts us to our core. Kamara's contract, Zeke money. I ain't even fifth to give that fool Billy Joe Tolliver money. Oh man, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about the Billy Joe Tolliver part, man. But Zeke, you know, so I don't think he deserves Zeke money. He deserves a good amount of money, but I don't know about Zeke. Might need to you know, think about that. Ghostface Griller says, "Who that, everybody? I think Malcolm Jenkins is going to bring a vast amount of knowledge to our defense. He brought the truth in that interview. Yeah, I mean, he did. I mean, he did some very outstanding, things, in the community, outside the community, and he brought up some very good points in his interview. So he talked about like the chemistry, of the team. The reporter asked him, do they feel like the comments between he and Drew Brees is it going to affect the team? And Malcolm Jenkins said, well, in a positive way, it does affect the team because it forced them to have those type of conversations. So for anybody that's out here concerned about how the Saints are going to play with one another this season, leaving, that interview kind of made me feel like the Saints are going to be okay. I feel like they're going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be an issue down the line. I don't think that Malcolm Jenkins is going to steal off on Drew Brees or vice versa. Nothing like that going to go down. And I don't feel like there's going to be a division in the locker room. I feel like these guys understand the mission. I think these guys have talked it out, and they're ready to move forward. And I think we as fans, we need to move forward as well. Like we don't need to keep on bringing this up and just think that the roof is going to fall in, or you know what I'm saying, just the avalanche is coming. Like I don't think that at all. I think these guys are professionals. These guys understand what the common goal is, and that is to win a Lombardi trophy. So I'm very, very, very confident that they'll be able to do great this season. What's that? Do you think it's too far out there for the Saints to convert AK-41 to receiver? I don't feel like it's necessary. I mean, why would you want to convert him to a receiver? I mean, he's a good running back. You don't convert a guy that averages 5 yards a carry and nearly 1,000 yards rushing a season to wide receiver. You do that when a guy doesn't have the type of skill set that Alvin Kamara has. So I definitely want to do that. I think he's fine just where he is. The truth hurts. What's going on, man? He says Saints defense going to have to be on it a game if we're going to win another Super Bowl. That's true. I mean, defense wins championship, folks. I mean, offense wins game. Offense keeps the butts in seats. Offense make you dance. But the defense is the thing that's going to really make you dance because they're going to help you catapult into the upper echelon of NFL teams. So, yeah, they need that. What's going on, Ja? Ja, the host of Lanyap Legends. Y'all check it out, man. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, Lanyap Legends. Ja says, if you're a Saints season ticket holder, we pay their salaries. I want the best team on the field, and they can compete every year. But the problem is we have talent, great coaching, but we just can't win the trophy. We don't come through in the clutch when it matters. I mean, that's pretty much straightforward right there. I think I think we all echo the sentiments of Ja on this particular subject and comments that he made. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, that's what really pissed you off as a fan. Growing up, I said that I've been a Saints fan since as long as I can remember. I'm going to say 1990, where I can really just start to, remember some of the moments. I mean, they sucked, like they stunk. When they won, it was like, you getting the best Christmas gift on Christmas morning. But when they lose, you was like, you didn't feel that bad because they sucked. But now it's like they're so good. They've beaten teams that are really, really good, and they should be in the Super Bowl somewhere. That's the part that frustrates you the most. Because all those years that you saw them suck, and you knew for a fact they weren't going to the Super Bowl, the Cereal Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Like no bowl whatsoever. They weren't going to go. The only way they was going to go if somebody bought them tickets or they bought tickets themselves. But now they're so good. They're so talented. Why can't they get over the hump? It frustrates you. It does. Terrence says, I predict the Saints finish the regular season 14-2. That's a lot of optimism right there, Terrence, but I have them more at 11-5 in my opinion. Saints man said, to what extent do you think the defense will be affected without the crowd noise in the dome? I feel like the same situation that we're seeing going on in the NBA right now. I don't know how many people in the Who Dat Nation, how many of you all following the playoffs. I think it might be the same type of situation. Like, you don't have the crowd to, disrupt the offense and, confuse them. You have to be disciplined. Like I said it, this year is going to be the year where you really find out who the real true team is, like who is the best team in the league. Because the circumstances that these people, or these players rather, are going to have to play under, they are going to have to be as disciplined as possible. You don't have the advantages of a loud crowd. You don't have the advantage of of a disruption or false starts and stuff like that because of crowd noise. You don't have that anymore. You have to be disciplined. And when I say it's kind of like what's going on in the bubble in NBA, it's because, it's like when you play, it's like you playing a pickup game, right? You at the park. You don't have a cheering section, right? It's about going out there, executing, may the best team win. And that's how the NFL is going to be this season. So if the Saints want to win, they're going to have to be disciplined. And they're going to have to be the best team on the field that day. So that's the way I feel about that. Do you think Deontay Harris gets more burns this season? Yeah, I feel like he's going to get more. I think he's going to get more. I think they're going to add more to his plate. I think he's a guy that they started to use late in the season. I think he has a great skill set. I think that they're going to utilize him in a kicking game, of course. That's what his bread and butter is. He's a first-team All-Pro on special teams. But I do feel like the Saints are going to add to his plate, and I'm looking forward to it, man, because I think that he's a very special player. Tim, thank you very much for the $10. He says, ways good, TJ. Just showing some love. I really believe the Saints have the best team. Thrive ever. Had with a aging Drew. Even Malcolm Jenkins was supposed we hadn't won more bowls. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was shocked. You know what I'm saying? He was shocked that they didn't win a Super Bowl. He even said that with Drew Brees, I mean, yeah, he's up there in age, but I think we still can believe that Drew can get the job done. They just got to make sure that they actually help him a little bit more. Brian Pearson, I think Brady wanted to play for the Saints, so when Drew came back to the Saints that same day, Brady went to the Bucs. I don't know why would you play for them. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Probably because they wanted him, and maybe he wanted to play in warmer weather. Maybe he wanted to be with the offense, you know what I'm saying, where he had a lot of weapons. I mean, we can talk about Tampa all we want to. Yeah, they've been a doormat of the South over the past decade, but they do have a lot of talented offensive players on that team. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't understand why he went to Tampa. It's just the whole stigma of what Tampa represents. But you have to look at it too, man. Like we aren't that far removed from the stink and what the stigma was about the New Orleans Saints. I mean, just because we got Drew Brees and Sean Payton, man, let's not forget what we were, So, I mean, all it takes is that one person, to come to the organization and turn it around. I mean, it started with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. And for 15 years, the Saints have been one of the best teams in the NFL. So, I mean, it all started with, a short 6 foot, 209-pound quarterback and an offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? So, you never know. That might be the start of something special for them. This is a complete roster. It's almost regular season. Who that? Yeah, Dexter. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm fired up about this season. I really am. Hey, man, I'm new to podcasting and was wondering if you had any advice to growing my channel. Love your vids, man. Talking ball. Thank you, man, for, asking me that. I appreciate that, man. I'm humbled by you asking me. The only thing I can tell you, the best advice I can give to anybody that's starting a podcast, and I'm just being 100 with you right now. Number one, you can't listen to what everybody else is saying. There are going to be so many videos. People are going to be like, hey, look, This is why your podcast isn't growing. This is what you need to do to start a podcast. Look, the best thing that you can do is run your own race and understand that Rome was not built in a day. And also, you have to have passion behind what you're doing. If you're doing a podcast just to be seen, if you're doing a podcast because you want everybody to love you, if you're doing a podcast because you want that sexy girl to slide into your DMs or you want that hot guy to slide into your DMs, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Number one, you should be passionate about what you're doing. Then you need to stop listening to other people and just consistently put out content. That's the best advice I can give to you. The best advice I can give to anybody is just consistently put out content. And don't pay attention to what other people are doing. Don't let that discourage you. I often say this. I say you need to run your race. Rather your race is your job. Rather your race is your podcast. Rather your race is your relationship. You should run your race like a horse with blinders on in a Kentucky Derby. Okay? They put blinders on horses so he can face forward, so he don't worry about those other horses on the side of him. The only thing that is important is the goal. So what is your goal? That's my question to you. What is your goal? Is your goal to have a successful podcast? Is your goal to grow your channel? Because it's not going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. You know what I'm saying? You got to have passion behind it. You got to have love behind it. And you got to do it to the best of your ability. To the best of your ability. That's the best advice I can give you. And if you do it with passion, you do it with love, and you're not shortchanging anybody, nobody in this world won't be able to feel what you're saying. So that's for everybody out there. I don't care if you are starting a podcast, if you're trying to do something in your life, make sure you're doing it to the fullest. But consistent content is very, very important. And don't look at numbers. Don't look at numbers, man. Why you do podcasting in the first place? You do it because you love it. I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, I started out one subscriber, right? I started out with one subscriber, me. I subscribed to myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I was my own number one fan, okay? And I was like, I got in there. I just started doing videos. And some of y'all know, Jerry know, I mean, I wasn't behind the video camera. I would take my phone. This is no lie, folks. If you checked out the earlier versions of the State of Saints podcast, I would go into my apartment closet with my iPhone and I will record myself. Then I would go to like Google and get pictures that kind of, coincide with what I was talking about. And from that, I'm saying, I was able to get some of the things that I needed. And I started to slowly grow my channel. I started to, get a webcam. I started to get a better computer. I started to get a microphones. And shouts out to my station manager, the station I work at. I mean, he's giving me like, microphones and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate in that regards. But I just had passion and love for what I was doing, man. So that's the best advice I can give you. And that's the best advice I give to anybody. Do what you love to do. And not because a bunch of people tell you, oh, man, you'll be good at that. Do it because you love it. And I always say this. This is when you know that you found passion. This is for all my people out there. You found your passion when you find something that you love, and it would not matter if you was to get paid $1 to do it. If you found that, then you have found your passion. Because if you have passion, $1 is going to turn into more than that. And it's not going to be because you wanted it to happen. It's going to be because your passion shined through. So that's the best advice I can give to you, man. Good luck to you. Let's see. I think I kind of lost my spot here. But, I mean, hopefully, somebody, feel that advice I'm giving y'all right quick. Already read that. Me too, thanks. Let's see. Saints man says the Buccaneers this offseason remind me of all those overhyped teams from the Browns last offseason. For real, man. For real. Like, I mean, we ain't playing Madden. We playing football, right? That's what we doing. We playing football. The truth hurt says Madden is football, but you know what I'm saying, we not simulating the entire season. If we simulated the entire season, then you know, probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to the Super Bowl based on talent, but that's not how we do it. The truth hurt says if the Saints can find a way to stay healthy, I don't see them losing no more than 3 games. I mean, things can happen. But I hope you all are right. I'm saying 11-5. It's not like I'm saying I don't believe in this team. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Yeah, like Wu-Tang says, if you're going to teach Matt, teach it well. Yeah, man. I mean, do it to the best of your ability. What's going on, Dwayne? He says, I'm late. What's going on, TJ, man? Look, you right on time, my brother. You right on time. Dexter says, that's awesome. DIY, do it yourself. Advice, TJ. Yeah, man, do it yourself. Do it because, like I said, do it because you love it, man. Do it because you feel like you can't live without it. Look, broadcasting is like the air I breathe, folks, the water that I drink. Like, I mean, man, I started out doing podcasts in my closet. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I used to do it. And I used to like sit in my closet and do it with a whole bunch of clothes around me so it can drown out the background noise. You know what I'm saying? So I won't have an echo. That's how I used to do it. I mean, the first podcast I really started to do was called, it was on a website called Blog Talk Radio. And it was more like conference call type of radio. You know, you were talking on a phone and people would be able to hear you on a website. And I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's like the air, you know, the air I breathe, the water I drink. Like I love it, you know. And I'm very passionate about it. Like it's very like I don't even really like hearing myself talk, but you know, I try to find ways, you know, I can get better. You know, I listen to countless hours of interviews. Maybe I'm helping y'all with this, you know what I'm saying, telling you what I do. I listen to countless hours of interviews, like from different individuals. I listen to the tone of their voice. I listen to the rhythm of their voice. You know what I'm saying? I listen to you know what I'm saying, the way that they actually rebuttal. You know what I'm saying? When they ask a question, you know, like I look at all that stuff. And you got to be a student of the game. You got to be a student of the game if you're starting a podcast. But it's very important that you don't pay attention to what other people are doing, because then you'll end up having a podcast like somebody else, and then you will be having to answer the question, what makes me stand out? What makes me different? So Robert says, do you feel the Saints should acquire Clowney? I'm kind of off that train, Robert. If they do sign Jadeveon Clowney, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, I understand he's a great talent, but I don't feel like the Saints really just need Jadeveon Clowney the way people are making it out like they do. And I think the only reason why they're saying this is because they just think that it's just a matter of time before Davenport and Rankins get hurt. So I don't know, man. I guess, you know, if they can get them, why not? But I'm not trying to move heaven and earth for them. Thomas says they need to get back to the Mark Kamara share, but with Murray. I agree with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Make a lot of sense to me. Definitely need a balanced attack. Do you feel like Traquan Smith is in trouble on the wide receiver spot? No, I don't. I don't feel like he's in trouble. I feel like he's going to make the team. You have to look at the fact that, you know, he is ahead of the game when it comes to the playbook. That's his advantage right now. I don't feel like he should just get the job based on that alone, but I feel like that is his advantage. You know, he's been there. Talking Ball says, I missed his last question. I don't know if you said, bro, who's this guy? Oh, I don't know what that. I don't know what you mean by that. Was that what you was talking about? Talking Ball. You said I missed your last question. I don't know if that was what you said, but if that's not what you said, feel free to you know, put it down in the comments again. Dwayne says, Saints, man, you took the words out of my mouth as I was just texting what you said. I'm sick of all the hype. The yucks suck on the NFL Network featuring the Saints camp. Let's see if they stay focused on us. I don't care. And, honestly, I don't care if they do put the attention on them. Fine. Like I don't need the attention on the Saints. Like, just go out there and deliver. You're my favorite Saints podcast, TJ. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. But, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention like some of these other great podcasters out here that do an outstanding job, man. I don't know, man. I see people sometimes, they be going at each other's neck if they do the same type of podcast, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to watch me. And I'm like, man, I want everybody to be watched. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not wired that way. But there are so many great podcasters out here, man. I mean, Deuce Wenham does an outstanding job breaking down film. Man, he's a guy that, you can tell he's a real student of the game, man. I mean, he always has, like, great content, man. NOS, a young kid. I mean, he just starting college and stuff like that, but he does an outstanding job. Big Q does an outstanding job breaking down the X's and the O's, man. I know Simba starting his thing, man. I mean, he focused on boxing too. I mean, I even see my boy Job, man, Jared, he doing his thing too. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, I think everybody does an outstanding job. I want everybody to be successful. Rather, like, even if, they numbers are bigger than mine, viewership more than mine, because, man, I just think that it's important for us to really, be able to, like, do what we love to do. And you can tell, like, each one of those people that I named love what they do. But I do appreciate those kind words. But, I think that all of the podcasters that I mentioned, man, are very special in their own right. Talking Ball said, that ain't it. Okay, you said I asked, should I talk about my farts in my podcast? No one else is doing it right now. Talking Ball, I mean, hey, it might be a little bit controversial, and you might have some issues when it comes to monetization, but if you want to talk about that, man, then feel free. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep it as PG as you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, everybody farts, so you might be able to get away with that. Robert said, that's how I feel also, at least for some depth. I mean, Robert, look, I get it. I get why you're excited, and I get why you want him to come. But I just feel like that would kind of just be, the cherry on, well, I don't even say cherry on top, man. It's just some extra whipped cream or some extra chocolate sauce. Like, I feel like the Saints already have some good players, man. They just got to stay healthy. Like, let's not pretend like Sheldon Rankins can't ball and Davenport is not a freak of nature, man. These guys just got to stay healthy, That's what we need. We wouldn't even be talking about this if they stayed healthy. Ty said, I have a gut feeling Butler will step up this year. I hope so. I mean, if he does, then that'll be a plus. They can use them in red zone situations. That definitely can help them out. Ghostface says, it would be cool to see you and NOS do a podcast together, TJ. Yeah, man. I mean, I would love to. Do a show with NOS. Like I said, I mean, I don't mind. Man, y'all know me. I'll do a show with anybody. I mean, I know he does an outstanding job, man. He's a good man. He's a good guy, good solid guy. And I'm happy for him, man. I know he's starting college and stuff like that, man. I'm always excited to see young people evolve. I know how it is, man. You just starting college and stuff like that. It's an exciting process. It can get a little bit of a burden, like when you first starting out, but I mean, I'm looking forward to some big things from him. And he does outstanding job. So I definitely would love to see. I would love to see, him really, thrive and grow, more what he doing, he is thriving and growing. But I know he's going to he's going to blow up, because he's like how young he is and how knowledgeable he is about the Saints. Like it's going to be incredible. But I would love to do a show with him. No doubt about that. The Dwayne Randolph comment, I will not put that on the screen. I'm sorry. I will not. my nephew watched the show, and he's 9 years old, so I will not put that on the screen. I was saying tomorrow, the NFL Network is featuring Saints camp tomorrow. The Yucks seem to be featured for several days. Now let's see if we get the extensive coverage as the NFC South champions deserve. Look, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna get that type of attention, but I mean, it's good that they're coming down here. Where does Will Clapp fit in with an already talented O-line? You think he will continue to be a backup? No, probably not. I think he's probably going to end up being a camp casualty. But the good news is Will Clapp is one of those guys that can start on somebody's team. It just reminds me of Clemente. You know what I'm saying? That, a guy that kind of, bounced around the offensive line until he found the home in Houston. I look at Will Clapp as being the same type of guy. So I think that he's probably going to end up not playing for the Saints this season and end up being picked up by somebody, which is going to be good because he'll be a starter. Ramsey says, "What is up, TJ? Who would you rather see us with? Cornerback Talib or Kirkpatrick?" I'm going to go with Talib, man. Talib is still an elite corner. He still plays at an elite level, even though he is 34 years old. I didn't see any drop-off in his game. I mean, he got hurt early in the season. He got traded to the Dolphins. But I definitely would love to have Talib. I feel like with Talib, you really have something special. Dre Kirkpatrick is really good. He has the length. He's good at jamming receivers, and I think he'll be good in the slot. But come on, man, Talib is a different type of animal. Plus, he plays with an edge, so I definitely like that. Let me see. If we got Dwayne Washington up here, say, "I've been stealing money from old ladies' bank accounts." Dwayne says, "That's the farm master heckling me." Yeah, I know, man. Y'all clown all the time inside of the chat, man. That's kind of y'all thing. Y'all been doing this for quite some time, so I know it's definitely not you. But I want to say thank you to everybody that checked out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate it. I encourage you all to please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. If you have not already, please follow on Facebook, facebook.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. And I'm also asking you all to support the audio podcast, man. We're trying to grow that platform. Look, I understand a lot of people, they work and they can't look at the videos, and unless you have YouTube Premium, if you close your phone, then the video go out. So I think the audio form is the best way to do it. You can be at the gym getting your swole on. You can be at work behind a desk, and you'll still get opportunity to listen. So I'm definitely trying to push that. It's available on Spotify, also iHeartRadio, and iTunes. So you can just go ahead and just search for the State of the Saints podcast. It is available to you. So I ask you all to continue to support the State of the Saints podcast. Shouts out to everybody that listened and has been supporting since day one. We got some guests lined up. We got Jeff Norwick. He is going to be on the State of the Saints podcast on tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 Central. He's going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints. I'm interested to get his take on P.J. Williams since he kind of jumped out of the window a little bit about P.J., man, and talking about P.J. Williams don't deserve some of the criticism. So I'm definitely going to ask him about that. Okay. Also, we're going to have Larry Holder on the show next week. Larry Holder. I mean, y'all guys know who Larry Holder is, especially if you're in New Orleans. I had Jeff Duncan, his partner in crime, on the show the other day. So Larry Holder will be on the show on next week. Delvin Bro will be on the show on next week. And also Saints reporter Amy Just will be on the show on next week. So those are people I know for a fact that are going to be on the State of the Saints podcast next week. And I'm trying to work on getting some more guests on the show, man, but those are the true commitments that I know for a fact that you all are going to see on the State of the Saints podcast. But thank you all so much. You take care. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?